But we're not going to be starting with politics today. We want to start with something different. And we're talking surrogacy. It's become quite the conversation starter and hot topic across many circles in Nigeria, especially the urban areas. A lot of people have opinions about it. It wasn't something that was very openly discussed in Nigeria in the past, but it's becoming quite the topic of conversation. And I'm joined here now by someone who would know about this to sort of give us an insight into what this means. And Olaro Ke Thaddeus is the founder of Meet Surrogate Mothers. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Ibuka.
Why is this issue so touchy for a lot of people? Where it's a culture that loves children, you know, it's never been frowned on to welcome children into the world. But surrogacy seems to be a bit of a touchy conversation for people, is it?
Yes, it is, because like you've said, anything that borders on motherhood, having baby, they are quite sensitive issues. And in our African culture, every woman wants to carry a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Okay, so before a woman decides she wants to do surrogacy, you will know, yes, this is a last resort for her, okay? And I've seen a lot of these women over the years, and their stories are so touchy, and sometimes it brings tears to my eye, okay? So motherhood is not a joke, okay? Having baby is not a joke. It's not something that we should trivialize. These are quite sensitive issues, okay? And I also I saw the trend and how it's been going. I'm very, very happy that surrogacy is being discussed openly now, okay? Because in the time past, you will not see surrogacy as a subject of discussion anywhere, but presently it's being discussed, so it's quite good, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, because some people think it's a new thing that's come to become a part of Nigeria's conversations. But you're saying it's something you've been doing for a while. First of all, what made you go into this and start, you know, Meet Surrogate Mothers? And how long or how often do you come across mothers who want to do this?
Okay, I've been...
Or women?
Yes, I've been in the industry for over 10 years. And I can tell you yearly, I can say up to 100 women who need our service, okay? I'm even just trying to downplay it. They are more than that, okay? And IVF has been in existence for a very long time, over 20 years, yes, if I'm correct. And technically, if you read any statistics, it shows that for every 10 IVF treatments, at least one of it will result into surrogacy. So that will tell you that surrogacy is not something we can downplay. It's a necessity medically for women who cannot conceive their baby traditionally. Okay, so somebody has to fill that gap. And, you know, at that point, I didn't see so much on surrogacy. And I said, if statistics are showing that 1 out of 10 IVF treatment would lead to surrogacy, where are these women? Who is helping them out? Knowing fully well that in Nigerian culture or African culture, you know, once they hear surrogacy, everybody wants to dodge and not talk about it and shy away from it. So I decided to pick it up and help these women stand in between them and the surrogate mother so that they feel more comfortable, okay, to talk about their problem, and they feel more comfortable entering the journey without any fear.
Yeah. I mean, before coming to this, I was trying to find out, you know, what the law says. I know there are no clear federal laws, but I know Lagos State has some guidelines on how, you know, embryos and all of that are treated. Well, you mentioned something, and it's something that I know that a lot of people have talked about when I see conversations like this on social media, because we have this thing where we hear stories about baby factories and people buying babies, and people seem to blur the lines between that and what surrogacy is. So most people, when they hear surrogacy, they just say, oh, you have gone to buy a baby. So I think people give some clarity on how that differs from what people see as controversial. Because we've seen documentaries, we've seen situations where they say, well, a baby factory was busted and, you know, they were arrested and all of that. But surrogacy is a different conversation, isn't it?
Definitely, definitely. Surrogacy is different, okay? Surrogacy is ethically practiced by all IVF hospitals in Nigeria. I can tell you that. And you cannot, it's going to be very wrong to compare surrogacy with baby factory, because baby factory comes with a lot of exploitation, a lot of undue advantage of younger female, a lot of sexual abuse. They're locking up these younger women, raping them, you know, and collecting their babies to sell to the other party. This is not what happened in surrogacy. Surrogacy is when another woman willingly come and say, yes, I'm going to help you to carry your pregnancy to term, okay? And this is ethically done, not by having sex. It is through in vitro fertilization. IVF is done. Most often, the eggs of the intending mom are retrieved and fertilized with the sperm of the intending father, and both have fertilized in the IVF lab to generate the embryos that will be transferred into the surrogate mother. Okay, so you can see that the practice is a whole lot of different from what baby factory is. And in surrogacy, there is informed consent on all parties.
All parties
The
involved.
surrogate mother is well informed about everything she wants to, even as at the time she's coming, she knows what she's coming for. And by the time she comes, she begins with a psychological evaluation, getting her more informed into what this whole program is all about. Okay, even the intending parents too are well informed, and I will tell you that from experience, by the time we are talking to intending parents, most intending parents, you'll see that because they don't know much about pregnancy, they usually think once it is surrogacy, it has to be a perfect pregnancy. Okay, so I try to correct that notion often, that look, the fact that you're using a surrogate mother doesn't erase that there could be complication also for her. Okay, so no two pregnancies are the same. So all parties has to be informed. There has to be an informed consent for all parties to start with, before we even commence anything.
Yeah, so I think the key word there is consent. Everybody involved has given consent. But one of the things that people say is that, you know, this is exploiting, even though you say it's not exploiting, the economic situation of the country. You find that people are becoming surrogates because they see that as a way of making money. And I mean, am I going to make money off of this? 9 months, I get paid, and I move on. Isn't that a, or is there any fairness in that belief that if Nigeria was not so poor, you know, you wouldn't have this option, or if people were not poor, do you find surrogates who have a day job, who are doing well, and are surrogates? Because the belief is that it takes a poor woman to want to say, oh, let me do this and make money.
Yeah, I read quite a lot of that also, but I want to correct that notion today. That I have had a lot of surrogate mothers who are working mom. Some had worked in telecom. Some had good job they're doing, good businesses they are doing. Some just wanted to do this willingly. I received such women. They will say, I just want to help another woman.
They just want to help.
They just want to help another woman out. I have a lot of that. I would not also shy away from other women that are also doing this. Yes, for financial support, okay? But the thing I'm going to say is that there's no exploitation, because the truth is that nobody can be fully compensated when it comes to surrogacy. That's the truth. If you collect all the amounts, it does not truly quantify that service. So I still believe, even for the financial gains that you are talking about, it comes with a lot of compassion. For someone to come out and say, I want to do this, that means that person is an angel. It's not all about the money. It shouldn't be perceived as being transactional. It's not easy for somebody to put her life on the line.
So do you find the surrogates, or do they come to you?
They come.
I just wondered if you go to scout for surrogates,
No.
that then becomes,
no, we
weird.
don't. We don't scout for surrogates. They willingly come in. and say, look, I want to help another woman out. We don't go all out searching for them. No, we don't.
Okay. Another thing that has become a little, I mean, that made it, I guess, talked about a lot is this celebrity angle that seems to have come into it now. We've started hearing or seeing, celebrities who allegedly, have had kids through that way. I think internationally it's been a thing. I think Kim Kardashian was very popular back in the day. She had 2 of her last kids via a surrogate. But we're starting to hear stories about that in Nigeria, unconfirmed or confirmed, we don't know. And then the belief is that these are people who might not even have any issues getting pregnant. They just don't want to spoil their body or, don't want to go through the hassle of pregnancy. And if I can afford for someone else to have my child, why don't I? That's where I guess it gets ethical for some people, wondering, you just feel like you have money and you can get away with not, going through what you can pay someone else for. Well, I'm sure you get situations like that.
I don't get situations like that. And I'll tell you that for every woman that I have seen, they have so much story to tell. Even the celebrity you're talking about, all these celebrities you're talking about, they might not share their medical story to you.
Yeah, to be fair, Kim Kardashian did have complications.
Okay.
Which is why she did that. But I don't know about the Nigerian one.
Yeah. All of them that I've known had good reasons to decide to do surrogacy. Like I said earlier on, it is every woman's desire to carry a pregnancy. Well, if a woman now decides that she will not carry a pregnancy, that means there is also a problem mentally. So have you thoroughly evaluated her? Could it be that she has phobia for pregnancy? Okay. So each stage, each part of this journey to motherhood is very important. And I'm telling you, even for people who think, oh, they don't want to carry their pregnancy, they will still go through IVF process. IVF process means they are taking injections on a daily basis. They will now do egg retrieval. Egg retrieval pain, I think, is even more painful than childbirth. So there is no shortcut. Every of these stages are very important. That is what I want you to know. They are very important. So that's just it, no shortcuts. If a woman says she does not want to carry a pregnancy, no, that is a thing of choice, number one. Are we to respect her choice? Yes, we have to. Because there could be a fundamental mental issue somewhere. So it begins with psychological evaluation for her.
What's the average fee a surrogate gets?
Okay, I'm not going to go into fee. Okay, but like I have said to you earlier on, there is no money that can adequately compensate a surrogate mother. There is none. Okay, so they get compensated they get reimbursed, not even compensation, reimbursed for all the expenses incurred during the program. The likes of their transportation to the hospital, monthly feeding.
That's all they get?
Monthly feeding, allowance. Yes, that's what they get. Monthly feeding, wardrobe allowance, medical expenses if they are sick, No, there's no. This is just altruistic surrogacy, okay? Because in true sense of it, if you want to say, somebody wants to choose surrogacy because she has money, can that person truly pay for that service? That's the question. So every surrogate mother comes in to help. It's an act. It's an act of compassion. It's an act of giving hope to somebody else. No one can truly say, yeah, it is money.
I mean, we live in a country where a lot of our culture seeps into religion and vice versa. And a lot of the religions we practice in Nigeria heavily, have, their opinions on things like this. And I just wonder, do you understand why there's still maybe some sort of controversy or resistance maybe from people wondering, what is this thing you people are doing, And do you think there should be clear legislation for this?
Oh, well, I'm aware of the bill presently in the House of Assembly. Okay, I think I read it as passed the second stage. Of course, it's going to be a nice thing if there is an existing law to protect all parties. Okay, it won't be a bad idea. In terms of cultural belief, religion belief, well, I would say people tend to believe what they should believe. Even if you want to go through the religious way, surrogacy is not, it's biblical, for instance. And the same story is also in the Islamic way. The same story of Abraham and the wife, okay, and Hagar and all that. So if you wanted to go to, if you want to go through that side, then yes, there's nothing wrong. Say in doing surrogacy, okay. Then the cultural aspect of it, yes, like I said earlier on, a lot of societal judgment, fears from intended parents. What would this party say? What would my husband family say? What would my friends even say? All these things are also there to think about. But I just say that is whosoever wear the shoes that knows where it pinches. You're the one looking for fruits of the womb. If you allow somebody's opinion to determine what you should do for yourself to make yourself happy, then it's lies on you.
Just before we go, sort of a criteria on how you choose the ladies who are surrogates, because I mean, I would assume they have to be at least of legal age, right? But also secondly, with women, you get to a certain age and there's a higher risk of carrying a baby and even, less likely to even sort of carry the baby, which is why I guess maybe surrogacy is getting more popular because people are getting married older and all of that. So how do you go through the vetting of, agreeing if someone walks in and says, I want to do this? How does that process work?
Okay, in my agency, for instance, we have our own criteria, which might be different from the next person. For us, a surrogate mom, our mom, they've given birth to their kids. We want to tap into their wealth of pregnancy experience.
So the person has had a child?
Yes, okay. Then secondly, the age range for us is usually between 25 to 38. Any age lower than even the bill is saying 21, but for me, I don't do 21. 25, yeah, because 25 looks more mature and she definitely would have more experience, okay, compared to 21. Of course, we take her through psychological evaluation. We want to know what she knows first before we start telling her what this is all about, okay? Then, of course, after then, we do our KYC. We know her to our family. Our family must be involved, must give consent for this because surrogacy, I would liken it to marriage. We are in partnership. Yeah.
Do they meet the surrogate?
No, okay. No. Intended parents usually don't.
Do you have situations where the surrogate wants to keep the baby? And what do you do about that?
No.
What if it comes up? What do you do?
I don't pray it comes up, but it has never, because, this also tells more about counseling, okay, for the surrogate mother. These are what we do for them regularly, getting them to know that, yes, this baby is not genetically related to you. You're just carrying this baby for someone, and they know. They are well informed already. Even before they set their foot into our facility, they know that yes, they're just here to help another woman out. Okay, so I've never had that. They know it's not their baby. They know the baby is not genetically related to them. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Olaronke. I mean, these are sort of new conversations, especially for Nigerians. Even internationally, there's still a lot of controversy around it. But I mean, I respect the fact that, people who need service or help, are getting it. I think where people just wonder is, are you doing it for convenience or, just because you don't want to be the one carrying. But thank you very much for clearing this up. I guess it's an ongoing conversation and we'll keep growing and learning about a lot of these things. Thanks a lot for joining us.